Hey, everybody, how are you? Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. Yes, I have a special guest here with me, but I also have Vanessa Hunter, which makes me happy. Oh, my goodness, my partner in crime when it comes to presenting these Lunch and Learns right here with me. But we have the Casey Eberhart. If you don't know who Casey Eberhart is, he is a brilliant, when I say brilliant, I mean brilliant marketer. Like right off the cuff, right from the hip. All you got to do is walk down an aisle in the store with him and he's going to teach you some marketing. I don't care where you're at. This is the deal. But today, what to say when the phone rings? That's what we're going to be talking about. Vanessa, what do you think about this whole thing? What to say when the phone rings?
I'm telling you, Joe, I'm super excited about this because this is what to say when the phone rings, like general business edition. So anybody can figure out how to apply what Casey's going to share with us to your business and what you're building. Last week, it was what to say when the phone rings real estate edition or realtor edition. And so if you're in real estate, you definitely want to listen to that one. But this is for general business. So any of you out there building a business of any kind whatsoever will benefit from this. And I'm excited because we finally wrangled Casey and captured him long enough to have him as our guest today. So I'm excited about that. But Joe, we haven't asked what people are having for lunch.
Yeah, we're missing that. My goodness. Okay. So folks, listen, you know I have food issues. Hold on. They know my food issues so much. I even got a mug this week about tacos, Taco Tuesday.
That's
and of course, you know, I want a hot body, but I also want tacos. So anyway, I thought I'd save this. So thank you, Janet Kiefer, for the mug. I think it's amazing. And also, I got to warn everybody before we get started. Casey has this thing. Like he comes up with new words that don't belong in the dictionary. So warning, there may be a few words coming at you today that may not be in the dictionary, but we're going to have fun with it.
But they're all going to be clean.
Oh, yes.
They're not going to be offensive.
Oh, of course. Neither one of us want to get smacked by you. And we can see, you know, you're in the middle and we're on the outside. So you can double smack us pretty easy. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Right on. Well, we should probably get started.
Yes, let's. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Facebook user. Hello, Joe, Vanessa, and the dude in the field. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. We can't see you. If you haven't registered with StreamYard, we can't see your name. It's not that we don't want to call you out. We just see you as Facebook user. So register with StreamYard and you'll be able to comment using your name. Yes. Also, want to point people, Joe, before we even get started, if you don't have time to stick around, or if you have people that you would love to share this with that are not able to watch live, then we are on YouTube at youtube.com/mailbox power, and you'll be able to find this video and a whole lot of other Lunch and Learn videos right there on YouTube. So want to get that out there. Hello, Suzanne Baker. All right, let's get started.
All right, this is it.
This is it. So what to say when the phone rings, general business edition, featuring the one, the only, the spectacular Casey Eberhart. So let's, Casey, let's get started here. I know a lot of people focus on recruiting, getting new clients, getting new customers, and that seems to be like the big churn right now. But you and I were laughing the other day because people are out there like generating business and generating interest in what they're doing. And then the phone rings and they don't know what to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they freak out, right?
Well, it's kind of funny. So first off, you guys, hey, do us a favor, smash the like button. It'll really help the YouTube algorithm show this video to more people. And since we're trying to bring as much value as we humanly can, smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel, turning on notifications will do a huge world of difference for your business as we go forward with multiple Lunch and Learns going down the road. So had to get that out there.
Awesome.
Vanessa, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Casey's got 5 tips for success that he's going to share with us today. And as we're getting into this, and it was so funny as we're having a conversation. He's like, if people would just do this, and I was like, stop, hold, pause. Let's actually tell people that, because there are a lot of people out there that don't know what to do. They literally, the phone rings and they're like, it's what they've worked so hard to make happen. And then they freak out when it actually happens. So let's start with tip number 1.
Yeah. So first off,
this is the tip. This is it.
Yeah, this is the tip. So it's really funny, right? So a lot of business owners have trouble picking up the phone and actually making a sales call or making a call to a customer to find out why they left or whatever. So we have a freak out if we make an outbound call, right? Well, then they do all this work. They go create leads and marketing machines and marketing videos and whatever, all to attract people to their brand or their business or their company. And then the phone rings and then they also have a freak out, right? So we're freaked out no matter what, right? I remember back when I was a kid, the phone would ring and everybody would rush to the phone to pick it up because it was so awesome that it was actually making this buzzing noise, right? And now here we live in somewhat of a digital world, and when the phone rings to our retail operation or our warehouse or our cell phone, our personal cell phone, then we also have a freak out because we don't really even know what to do. So number 1, if you're available, answer the phone, right? Now, here's the thing. I know that seems crazy, but let's think about this psychologically from somebody that's picked up the phone. They've had a freak out on their own calling someone, which is now you, and then they get to leave a message. Let's not leave them on the hook for being able to leave a message. Let's actually freak them back out by picking up the phone, right? And now we can actually engage in a conversation taking place between 2 people. And at the end of the day, I wrote some notes down of things that when we're answering the phone, we can do to help the conversation move forward. But number 1 is answer the phone.
Right. Answer the phone and realize that the person calling you took courage to pick up the phone in the first place. So you're both freaking out. You're both equally freaking out. Like once you acknowledge that and realize like everybody on the line is in freak out mode, then it's a whole lot easier. Just like with anything, if you imagine that the person you're talking to is in the same situation, feeling the same kind of uneasy gut weirdness that you're feeling, then it's a whole lot easier to talk to somebody. So,
absolutely. And V, let me just say that if you run a company, I would say script how your brand or your company is actually answering the phone.
Yeah.
So if it's, hi, this is Casey. How may I help you? And even on my cell phone, when people call me, sometimes people don't know how to address your name, especially if you've got a name that might be a little harder to pronounce. You picking up the phone and saying, hey, this is Vanessa. How may I help you? Yeah. Hey, this is Joe. How can I help? You give the other person a little bit of pause if they were a little bit nervous because they didn't know how to pronounce your name even.
Yes.
Right out of the bat and made it easier for them to be able to start that conversation.
Exactly. And so if you do have a business with other people answering the phone, make sure you have that conversation with them. You know, how do we want to answer the phone? How do we want to present our business? How can we do this in a way that is really welcoming when people call?
Yeah, it's critically important, really.
Yeah, it really is. Case, here's another one. Tip number 2 is call your own voicemail and listen to the message. Why?
Yeah, this is huge. So it turns out that a lot of you won't answer your phone because you're still having freak out syndrome, right? So that's cool, or you're busy or you're off doing other things or whatever. So here's the thing. You want to call your voicemail, and here's the question. Would I show up? Would I hire me? Right? So let's take a step back for a second and understand that when people are calling us, a customer has a lifetime value to our business, right? And when I do this exercise with big groups of people, the numbers are outrageous when you start really thinking about a lifetime value of a customer. So I always kind of ask when they give me that number, hey, let's call your voicemail right now. And the question I want to ask you is, are you showing up on your voicemail at that level of conversation? Right. So if you feel that your lifetime value of a customer is $100,000 or $25,000 or $10,000 or $4 million, whatever it is, and you call your voicemail, it's like, hi, this is Bob. You can leave me a guest message. I guess maybe they won't. Like, who's going to do that? Who's going to have a conversation with that? Whereas if you say, hey, this is Case, what's going on? I'm out having an amazing day. I just can't reach you right now. Please leave me a name and number and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. At least you've got some energy. So, you know, robot voicemails, you know, hi, you have reached 818-376, blah, 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 blah. You sound, and a robot's doing it? Terrible. Or worse yet, you then have your mailbox full, right? That's another one. So, hey, lifetime value of a customer, I'm $100,000 conversation. I call you because I want to do business with you. I get your voicemail and it says your mailbox is full. Now what? I'm just calling number 2.
I'm guilty of that. I'm going to confess. I know that's why you threw that in there, Casey. I'm super guilty. I've had a full mailbox for like 6 years now. But
now, Vanessa, what that does do, but what that does do is it does allow people to better connect with you via text.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I know you are super busy. So answering random phone calls is not really a good use of your time. So your voicemail might even say, hey, I'm going to let you know my voicemail box is full. That's a little bit by design. It's a little bit because we're super busy here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to text me what the call's about and I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Now you've at least been able to get a little bit of information so that you can better serve that person when you call them back.
I'm actually going to put a new message on my voicemail just because of this conversation.
It's because nobody else knows the strategy why. Yeah. Right? Like I have a friend of mine whose mailbox is full all the time. And the reason his mailbox is full all the time is because he runs marketing ads and people call and leave a voicemail. And he just can't keep up with them all, right?
Yeah.
So his voicemail literally says, hey, if my mailbox is full, don't hesitate. Give me a text. It just means our ad that we're running is doing so well that we just have a bunch of people in front of you. No worries. I'll get back to you later.
Yeah.
What else does that do? It now shows that the ad is working. It shows that the marketing is working. So your voicemail, like, look, here's the thing. A Super Bowl ad, 30 seconds of somebody's attention at the Super Bowl or the Oscars or the Olympics is worth millions of dollars to marketers, right? You having somebody's attention for 15, 20 seconds in a voicemail is your one opportunity in a lot of cases to make that first impression before you ever even talk. Yeah. Right. So you could even do things like, what if you got on and changed your voicemail every morning? Said, hey, it's a great day in the month of this, on this day. Hey, super excited. It's Taco Tuesday or it's Wealthy Wednesday or it's Tech Thursday or whatever. Hey, I'm super having a good time. What you've now done is you've told people that you are hyper relevant.
Yes.
In the game of business, hyper relevancy, that is a real term. Hyper relevancy is really important from a marketer's perspective. And so I think it's really important that we understand that somebody calling our phone or and getting a voicemail, they are giving us 15 to 30 seconds of their attention. To marketers, that's worth millions and millions of dollars.
Absolutely.
Don't waste that attention span for folks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great point. Okay, moving on. Give your undivided attention to the conversation. This is my hot button and probably my pet peeve is people who pick up the phone and talk to you or answer the phone when they're not in a situation to have a conversation.
Vanessa, spot on, right? Here's the thing. Let me just use Zoom as an example so you guys have a visual example. How many of you have been on Zoom and somebody shows up to have a conversation with you about your product, or you showed up to buy their product or service or whatever, and this is what you see? And that's even if you have a shirt on, right? So
yeah,
it shows it can read through the voicemail and the voice as well. If you're in a car or in a movie theater or something where you cannot give the person that's been freaked out enough to call you, the person with the 16 digits and the expiration date in their wallet that you are asking for, and you show up in a conversation and you're at a club or you're in a car or you're outside in where a leaf blower is, are you really showing up as if that person is honored that they got freaked out enough to call you, and you're showing up like a lifetime value number of conversation? Here's the thing: if you don't, if you show up half present, then please don't expect your client, your prospect, your customer to show up at 100%. It's just not fair in the social contract that we have with one another in this thing called today.
Yes. And thank you for cleaning that up.
Yeah.
I noticed. So,
Gold star for Casey.
And he hasn't created any new words today. So we're doing
not
good.
yet. There's still time, Joe. So I do want to share really, really quickly about giving your undivided attention to the conversation, but not answering the phone if you're not willing to do that, or if you're not in a position to do that. I was in the car with a client and driving somewhere. I was going to be like an hour, and a family member called me who didn't really let me say, hey, I'm in the car with a client. I literally answered the phone, and before I could get the words out, this family member, who I'm not going to out right now, but this family member just was calling to vent to me about a situation they were in, and all kinds of words were exchanged in that moment.
I love that you consider me part of your family.
And that has happened with you as well, Case. But somebody called to vent, and I've got a client sitting next to me in the car, and this person doesn't know that because they're just like calling to vent, and they didn't let me. Normally I answer the phone, hi, Casey, I have my niece in the car. Or, hi, Casey, I've got my sister in the car, whatever. But in this situation, I had a client in the car, and I didn't have the opportunity to even say something. I literally said, hi. The words weren't out of my mouth, and my family member was like spewing all kinds of things that that person normally wouldn't say. And it was not a good situation. I literally turned to my client and I was like, sorry.
And that happens because it's habitual that we answer the phone, especially
I've done it. Yes.
Yeah, when
I should have ignored it.
We don't know if there's an emergency or if you got somebody on your staff calling. But yeah, if in that case, it might be worth not answering, or like Vanessa, what you do, and you do that to me quite often and say, hey, I'm in the car. Hey, I'm with my niece. I know that's code for, you probably want to, if you're calling to vent, you probably want to call me back later. But it's really important, because how many times have we called somebody and you hear stuff going on in the background, doors are slamming, maybe they're in a warehouse, and it's distracting. And so here's the thing, I always want to go back to another human being that has what you ultimately want, which is their credit card, is freaked out and is about to give you their hard-earned money for whatever product or service you are offering. If you don't respect that process, then don't get upset when the results aren't what you're actually asking.
Yes, 100%. And also realize that if you're not taking the conversation seriously and protecting the time, don't expect the other person to do that.
Absolutely.
All right. Next tip on the agenda here is get really, really good at asking the question, how can I help you? Yeah,
this is really important. People, from a sales psychology perspective, people really only buy one thing, and that's a solution, right? I'm thirsty, I need a drink. I'm hungry, I need food. I don't have any place to sleep tonight, I need shelter, right?
Yeah.
I need to help grow my business, whatever. When we say, how can I help you, or can I help you, what that ultimately does is show that we recognize that they have a problem and we are here as a solution.
Yeah.
Right. So one way to be able to do that is to literally answer the phone. Hey, this is Joe. How may I help you? Hey, this is Vanessa. How can I help you? And start right off the bat, because it will then take the pressure off of them trying to figure out what to say first. It allows them to answer a question versus ask a question, and it makes it much easier to have that conversation start flowing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah,
it is. And here's the thing, and maybe if we finish off with tip 5, I'm going to go back and kind of layer in a couple of things in this. But when we recognize that somebody is on the phone with us, if we are present and we are treating them as if they are a potential customer with a value helping them out over the lifetime of their working with us, the conversation and the game changes dramatically. Mm-hmm. And we're there to help answer questions, remove objections, move them through the sales process. At some point, just being able to say, hey, I'm here to help. What can I do?
Mm-hmm.
So vitally important.
It really is. And that layer into that being a good listener, right? So you can't just ask the question and not listen. Got to listen to the answer, because that will actually lead the rest of the conversation. And so if you get really good at listening to what the response is to how can I help you, you will know where to go with the conversation from there. So all of the fear and the butterflies and the, oh my goodness, I'm talking to a live person, because we're so inexperienced at that these days. So all of those butterflies go away because you are led in the conversation when you listen to what they have to say. They will tell you how you can help them if you just listen.
And if we have time at the end, I think we can unpack that a little bit even further. So what do we have in tip 5?
Number 5, once you learn the person's name, use it as often as you can in the conversation without sounding creepy.
Absolutely. So look, here's the thing, gang. We all know, we have heard the cliches a bazillion times that people want to feel special. People want to see their name in the marquee. People want to see their name on the front of a postcard or a greeting card. They want to see their name on a personalized gift. They want to see their name when they go to a gift shop and you're looking at the keychains for sale, just trying to find your own name. Our name is the most powerful message that we can receive, because on some level it validates us internally, thinking that we matter. Okay, so if you know that, being able to use the person's name multiple times in a phone call allows them to be recognized that we are fully present, right? So if I'm talking to Vanessa, it's like, hey, Vanessa, how may I help you? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, hey, Vanessa, what I want to be able to do is let's meet over on Facebook. Or, hey, Vanessa, what I want to be able to do is let's set up another time where I can get you totally set up, right? When I say don't sound creepy, it doesn't need to be in every single sentence, but if you can get into the habit and make it even a game if you have to, if you're not good at this, make it a game that you're going to use the person's first name in 3 times in every.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I called my bank, right? And the girl's name that helped me, her name was Easter. Well, now funny, I just thought that was kind of a funny name, but I used her name multiple times. And I have to tell you, the ice block that was between us, between 2 cold people having a conversation, by the end of the conversation, we were best buddies. And I think a lot of that came down to she's probably on the phone all day long, answering phone calls. Nobody even remembers her name. Nobody acknowledged her. She's probably in a really crappy situation.
Yes.
And just simply using the person's name. And you can do that. I mean, like, look, if you're freaked out and you don't want to do it on the phone, next time you go out to eat, use the server's name.
Yeah.
Say the bank teller's name. But if you can get, and here's the thing, once you know their name, especially if it's a little bit wonky in terms of how they pronounce it, being able to say that over and over again will make that conversation warm, and it will get you into rapport much, much quicker.
Yeah. So I do that. I do what you say at least 3 times in the conversation. I try to remember to do that in the beginning when I learn the person's name, sometime during the conversation, and always before we hang up. I'm like, thank you so much for your help, Casey. I really appreciate it. You know, that type of thing. Even in a sales call, even in when I'm talking to, I had to call the phone company the other day. I had to call the electric company. And even in those conversations, using that person's name, I feel personally, and here's my pro tip of the day. If you have to send flowers to somebody, call a local company and use that person's name. I've proven this to be true. I get better service, better flowers, better everything when I am personal with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's difficult, just make it a practice, make it a game, you know, and it's awkward at first and you might sound creepy if you're saying it every sentence, but if you don't ever try it, then you might run into a problem down the road, right?
Yeah.
So, V, can I kind of layer in some things here in a sec?
In one sec, I just want to kind of go back to the whole person's name thing, because some people are like, I don't know, you know, what if they don't say the name on the beginning of the call? There is no harm in saying, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Like implying they did share it with you. You just didn't catch it, taking the blame for not catching it. Or, hey, who am I speaking to? Who do I have the pleasure of speaking to today? You can always layer that in to try to get them to say their name properly, especially if it's somebody that you don't know how to pronounce their name or they never said it in the first place. So there's that.
And here's an easy way to do that, gang. Because you're now going to be fully present, which means that you're not going to be answering when you can't fully help the person. Here's the easy way to do that. Even if the person's name is Sam, right? Is you say, hey, I have my journal open and I'm taking notes on our call so I can best serve you. So just so I make sure to not mispronounce your name or to misspell it, can you spell out your name for me? Very simple. Yeah. I've recognized that I'm present. I've recognized I'm taking notes on the conversation. I've shown up to help. Yeah. And I'm also, because so many people, for whatever reason, have things about how they say their name or what they don't go by or what they go by. Be really respectful of that.
Yes. And so that was the 5 tips. We had a bonus tip, Casey, that you kind of threw in there. And I think this has to do with where you're going with the rest of this, which is make sure you have a clear and easy path for someone to make an appointment to talk to you.
Absolutely. So look, here's the thing. So I'm gonna stick on this slide for just a second, V. So here's the thing. One of the things that when people call you, you're present, you're using their first name, you want to answer their actual question. And if you try to oversell or over-converse, remember that you're going to potentially lose the sale. So if somebody calls me about a very specific product or a problem, I don't then use that opportunity to go off on 87 different tangents. I'm answering that specific question, right? Number 2, this is really cool. If you get this down right, it's massive. And that is everybody speaks at a different tone and speed. The faster you can build rapport with the person, the better off you're going to be. So when I'm talking with Vanessa, I know that I can talk really fast because she understands exactly how I'm talking. But if I'm talking to, my mom, I know my mom is going to talk a little bit slower. She's kind of got a softer tone of voice, and I can change the tone or the speed or the energy to match the person, right? So if I call someone, I'm a high energy guy. I get somebody on the phone, they're like, hi, it doesn't work, right? But like when Joe calls me, Joe's like, hey, what's going on? Let's get right in. And he goes right in because he knows he's going to match my energy. When you match somebody's tone and speed, you get into rapport and into the rhythm much faster.
Yep, absolutely.
The other thing I try to do, V, and this kind of goes with that last slide, is I try to always make sure that in our conversation we've given one extra action item. Either it's, hey, let's book another call, or let's have a chat, or I'm going to send you a video. I want to create an action item for the next and final component, which is BAM FAM. Right? And BAM FAM stands for book a meeting from a meeting, right? You can say book a call from a call. So when somebody calls, hey, this is Vanessa, how may I help you? Great, I got your thing here, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow. Let's get back on the call next week. What's easier for me? Should I send you my calendar link, or do you want to send me yours? And this is huge, V, and I watch this happen in my business all day long. We are so used to sending our calendar links to people now. But what happens is sometimes people will say, well, I'll just send you my calendar link. Well, now I've got a busy calendar as well. So now if I say, I just book it on mine, it could be this thing. But if they're a customer of mine or a potential customer, I'm going to meet them where they want me to meet them because I understand the lifetime value. So if I'm talking to Vanessa and she says, and I say, hey, Vanessa, I'm going to send you my calendar link to set up our next call. And she goes, oh, well, I've got a calendar link as well. I'm going to take on the responsibility because she is a potential customer of mine, right? Now I'm going to use hers, and I'm going to take that one extra little step of using her link. But if you don't have a way to book a calendar appointment with someone, you are operating in today's world at a huge disadvantage. Huge disadvantage. Because everybody's busy, everybody's having calendars. There's several free calendar setups out there. It's worth a couple of bucks to buy a couple of domain names and set it up. I mean, I literally on my outgoing voicemail, it says, hey, if I don't pick up the phone, you are far better off to go to this website and book a time with me. That way I can show up completely present and be 100% on board with knowing what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
make it easy for people.
Yes, I love that. We have a question from an audience member, Leon King, who says, if the person's speed is slow and unenthusiastic, should you match that, or should you try to be faster and more upbeat to bring them up a level or two?
That is a great question, Leon. Thank you. So this is just my opinion. It's just my opinion. I am not trying to move the other person to do anything. I am trying to meet and match them where they are. Right. So if somebody is slow and unenergetic and they have a question, you don't know if they're just super methodical and they're writing everything down, or if they're just no energy. But there's no requirement that somebody has to have, spastic energy to do business with you. Maybe you like that better, but at the end of the day, this is a potential customer. This is a potential prospect calling and asking us to help. So Leon, in this case, I would actually try to match them a little bit where they are. But now again, I have to put a caveat here to say, don't be creepy, right? So when I say don't be creepy, I don't mean if you pick up the phone, hey, this is Casey, how may I help you today? Is this Cassie? You don't gonna go, yes. Right? That's creepy, right? But you can bring down your energy level and match them a little bit, maybe an average of crazy, spastic, and where they are, right?
And I would say, Matt, you keep your upbeat energy, but match their tempo. So if they are speaking slowly, then you want to speak slowly. But I'm always going to be my optimistic self, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, people on a general playing field want to do business with people that are upbeat and positive and are having a good day, even if they're not.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But what happens, I think, a lot is people undo a sale. They spend all these energy marketing and getting and attracting people to call you. And then the energy falls flat and they don't understand and they're not helpful. And then it's almost like, wait a minute, why did you go through the effort of making me freak out to call you when you can't even show up? You can't even participate in the phone call. And now you are so energetic and so lame and you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, why would I do business with you?
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing that I'd like to point out, that's a great point, Casey. Another thing I'd like to point out is asking permission. When you're the one making the phone call, when you're the one doing the outbound call, make sure you ask permission for that person's time. So if I was to call Casey, for example, which we often have this exact conversation, which is, hey, Casey, do you have 5 minutes? Or, hey, do you have time for a 10-minute call? Or, hey, do you have time to hear this or watch that or get on a call with blah, blah, blah. I'm always asking permission because I want to be respectful for the other person's time.
Vanessa, spot on. If I call Joe, for example, and I say, Joe, I've got a couple of questions, and I know that he's fully present, I might even say to him, hey, Joe, I've got a couple of questions. How much time do you have before your next appointment? If he tells me 20 minutes, I am not taking 20 minutes of his time. I am going to pull it back, and I will literally set a clock for 15 minutes because I want him to be complete with the presentation or complete with the phone call, give him a chance to pee or whatever before he gets present on his next call. I know I was getting close to the line, right? But here's the thing. That, again, V, shows up in how present are we actually showing up for folks. And when somebody calls us, I'll say this. When somebody calls us, you don't want to over-present. And I think a lot of people over-present because we get super excited about our product, good, or our service or whatever. So answer their question, maybe give them one little step further, come up with a little action item, then set up the next time when you can spend more time with them if that is needed.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm going to send somebody a link, I'll say, hey, you know what? I'm going to Facebook you that link. And hey, how about either you send me a calendar link or I'll send you a calendar link and let's jump back on, 2 days from now or 5 days from now. And by the way, I've taken copious notes on our conversation and I'm going to make sure I answer these questions. Number 1, you wanted to know what the pricing structure was from Australia. Number 2, you wanted to know how something is shipped or how it's done. And number 3, are there any other questions that when we jump back on the call in a couple of days, I can have answered for you?
Yeah.
That is showing up fully, authentically, genuinely, on purpose, with intention, as if the other person on the other end of the phone actually matters.
Yes.
And the good news is, gang, 99% of people won't do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. The other thing that I do, Case, is make sure that I know how they want to communicate. So I'll ask them, you know, do you want me to email this to you? Messenger, blah, blah, blah. I'll ask them how they want to communicate. And I'll also, if I have any inkling whatsoever that the person might not show up for our next call, I always send a message saying, looking forward to seeing you at 2 p.m. today. You know, I always send that reminder message if I have any thought whatsoever that they don't have it on the calendar or won't show up or whatever. That's always a good idea to send that reminder message just so that you keep it in the forefront. They are far less likely to bail on you if you have taken the initiative to say, hey, I'm going to be there and I have this time carved out for you.
Absolutely. It's like when Joe and I talk, and Joe, you're going to have to like pipe down. You're adding a little too much stuff.
Easy, really Casey, easy. I'm not trying to match anybody right now.
It's hard to get a word in.
Issues here, so blood sugar's getting a little low.
Well, but like, look, here's the thing, you guys. So Joe is in a really unique situation, right? Joe is the CEO of a company, right? He has to play the role, like CEO of your own business, of your own brand, or whatever company you're running. You really have no other choice other than to learn to be somewhat of a chameleon.
Yeah.
Right? Joe knows showing up on this call that if he just allows us to talk, we're gonna get everything in that he wants in, right? But if Joe gets off the phone and he does a presentation, he's gonna have to quickly change how he presents and how his tone and how he shows up. He is a master at being a chameleon in the non-creepy way. And I keep saying non-creepy because I want it to be funny enough to be accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope, you're absolutely correct. I mean, I'm even wearing a pink shirt because I'm going to be presenting in front of some Mary Kay folks this evening. And I'm like, okay, even the color of your shirt actually can matter. It really can. How do you show up, right?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I heard Gary Vee talks about this a lot, and I'm a huge, you know, his stuff is amazing, right? One of the things that he talks about as business owners and entrepreneurs is that in today's marketplace, where we've got TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, we've got all these choices. At this point, as entrepreneurs, as brand owners, as brand company builders and marketers, at the end of the day, we're just essentially day trading attention span.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if you show up, the real question is, are you showing up as if you are a player in day trading that attention span? Or are you showing up that you just don't really value the time?
Right.
And it's so, I mean, I think today's topic is so vitally important for businesses to understand that when our phone rings, like that's kind of the holy grail of business. Like, because if you get upset that your phone rings, like, you know, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, maybe this is a tip for some people. It's like go through life trying to be a green button person, right? And when I say a green button person, it's like when you call someone, they pick up the phone, they have a red button and a green button. What are you? Are you a green button person or a red button person? And if you take that same philosophy into answering the phone,
yeah.
I mean, it's the holy grail of everything we do in marketing and everything we do in business and everything that we do to grow our brands and our businesses is to have customers and potential customers call us on the phone and want to do business with us. Yeah. Don't mess it up and don't waste it and don't be on the losing end of a day trade of their attention span. That's it.
Exactly. And make them feel special by paying attention to the conversation, by engaging with them, by using their name. All of those things, all of those tips that Casey has shared today are so incredibly important in building rapport with people and being able to move forward with your business. Joe.
Yes, my favorite slide. And one of my favorite business entrepreneurs that I love, Mary Kay Ash. If you don't know who Mary Kay Ash is, think pink Cadillacs and Mary Kay Cosmetics. This is what she said. Everyone has an invisible sign hanging from their neck saying, make me feel important, and never forget this message when working with people. Everything, all of the tips that Casey just taught, literally are to that message of making somebody feel important. Giving them your attention, using their name, being present. I mean, everything we just spoke to has to do with making somebody feel important. And this is so brilliant. I use it in every presentation I have because it fits in every presentation I have. I think we've lost so much in today's day and age. Some people like to say we're in a thank you economy, but unfortunately, boy, it's a pretty crazy world out there. A lot of people are competing on price and not making people feel important. I talk to insurance agents all the time, and I'm like, so are you just sending, premium notices out? Is that your deal? Or do you actually make your customers feel important? Oh my goodness. You could see some people go sheet white pretty quick because they ain't making anybody feel important. They're like, give me some money. That's what they're saying. Anyway, really, really thankful. Yes. And Mailbox Power, to use Mailbox Power to build any business. Yes, please. It's a fantastic, that's the reason we're here. The reason we're even doing these calls, what to say when the phone rings. As the CEO, I get to talk to people. I was talking to Steve Angeline a couple of weeks ago and Angeline, he goes, man, I've had this problem. I mean, I'm helping people make their phone ring and then all of a sudden they don't even know what to say. I'm like, what? They don't know what to say? And he goes, yeah, they don't know what to say. And I'm like, I'm having to do calls teaching people what to say now instead of how to get their phone to ring. And I'm like, wow, okay. And then of course we started talking about it and it was like, well, I don't know that anybody really knows what to say. But I would like to add this message. I know I haven't said much, but I want to say this. You probably wouldn't guess this, but there have been times in my life where I just didn't want to answer the phone. I was just overwhelmed and I didn't want to do it. This would go on for weeks. Yeah, would I answer the phone? Yeah. Was I enthusiastic about it? No. Did I push the red button? Yeah, I did. And I'm admitting it. I'm holding my hand up and admitting that I did that. I did that. But I want you to come at this from a different perspective. Do you want to grow your business? If you do, you need to talk to people and you need to make them feel important when they call. If somebody's calling you, that means they want to talk to you. They want to do business with you. They want to converse with you. They may just want to learn from you. But give them that opportunity. Give to them. Give to that audience that wants you. If that phone's ringing, pick that son of a bitch up and smash that green button and have a conversation. Use their name. Be present. All of the things that you've just been taught. And I told you, I bring the best. And here he is, Casey Eberhart and Vanessa. They've given you all of this wonderful content, but get your mindset right. Get your mindset to the point that it's time for me to grow. It's time for me to answer the phone. It's time for me to step up and grow my business and do what I know is the right thing to do for my business, because I can promise you this, if you don't answer your phone, eventually nobody's going to be talking about you. Nobody's going to be calling you, and you will have a very difficult time coming back from that. So anyway, that's my message.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you, Casey. What wonderful tips. We've had lots of feedback in the chat here. And I'm sure as people watch this moving forward, there'll be lots of other comments and even questions. So if you would kind of watch the chat moving forward, if you guys missed this, guys, or if you were tuning in late, or if you would like to share this with somebody that needs to hear this message, and I'm sure there are people popping into your head right now that you're like, oh, this person really needs to hear this message, then please share this video. You can go to youtube.com/Mailbox Power and watch this Lunch and Learn or any other Lunch and Learn that we've done. And we would love to hear your comments as you do that. Thanks again, Casey, so much for joining us today.
Well, and thanks, Vanessa, and thanks, Joe, for having me. You guys are amazing, and it is truly an honor. I know the most valuable commodity that people have is their time, and so I feel today it was worth everybody's time. So if it was worth your time, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then call your voicemail as soon as you're done.
Yes.
Love it. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day, and I hope you had a great lunch. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.